Are you willing for the Ummah to break down just because you as a person cannot let go of racism? I have seriously been contemplating making a video on this, but I think this is really important because we're living in a time where the Ummah is at a really major disadvantage within itself. It's breaking within itself, and a lot of people are leaving the deen of Islam. And that's a major concern to us all, and it should be a major concern to us all. But one thing that's prevalent in the discussions on how to save the Ummah is that when matters that are deserving of being discussed and dealt with internally, of being said to not want it to be brought up, they just want it to be covered and concealed, especially when it comes to matters concerning racism. Men in the Ummah are failing us as women and people in general. And also the parenting styles that are affecting young Muslims growing into adults that should be spreading the deen and increasing the size of the ummah, but in turn the horrible parenting tactics are taking more and more people away from the deen of Islam. And in today's video, I'm going to be mainly discussing how racism impacts and is affecting and killing our ummah from the inside out. Let's begin. Racism is really a disgusting and ugly thing, and it rears its head all throughout the world, whether with regards to it being within the Muslim community and outside the Muslim community. And what's bad is that this is not supposed to be within the Muslim community, mainly because Islam provided a sanctuary for people. It's supposed to be providing a sanctuary for people where you aren't viewed by your race, your social status, or that puts you in a group of other in societies outside of Islam. But in but racism in this community has become so prevalent that being Muslim does not provide you the sanctuary that it's supposed to provide. Islam, you're not supposed to be racist. That's one of the fundamentals of being Muslim. You're not supposed to be racist. Everyone's supposed to feel equal and be equal. But this sense of safety, security is under threat, has been under threat for so long, and more people aren't feeling the safety and sanctuary that Islam is supposed to offer, especially within Islamic communities. Now, one could argue that you can deal with this on your own, that it's not something that the community needs to deal with or know about, but it's something that rears its head and does affect a person's iman. Because regardless of how iman can be viewed as something internal, external factors also affect this. And racism is something that eats a person from the inside out. Like, how does one go out in public and say, I am proud to be Muslim, when their fellow Muslim comrades aren't proud to have them as peers within the deen of Islam? And that is something that's so sad and embarrassing, and the Ummah should feel ashamed of that. And this is something that we can fix. It's something fixable. It's not hard to fix. It's a new generation we're in. We aren't the previous generation. We are the new generation. We are young people. This is a mindset that we can change, and a mindset that even the previous generations that are still alive, they can change it, but they still choose not to change it. What's stopping people from changing and embracing their fellow Muslims that are that look different from them? And being different from them is not an issue, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Allah could have made us all look the same, but Allah didn't. We don't look the same. And isn't that a test for one another on how we should treat one another? We're supposed to be able to uplift ourselves as Muslim people within the Muslim Ummah and the Muslim society. But how are we supposed to uplift each other and represent ourselves as a strong forefront when we can't even let go of racism? Racism is still really a disgusting thing, and it's something that occurs passively. It's not always direct, where a racial slur is being said, blurted out. It's more so done passively, the passive aggressiveness of racism. It's when passive aggressiveness of racism is also sometimes is very rooted in ignorance. A lot of the times, when you see a black person or someone that doesn't look like you, your first option is assuming that these people do not know or understand the depths of the deen or the faith and itself, and that you need to over explain the deen to them, that they are incapable of coming from a place of knowing the deen of Islam. Or secondly, assuming that they are reverts instead of Muslims and treating them as such. And the third thing is, there's more examples of racism, but I'm just going to speak on the few. It's assuming that a black person is poor, in poverty, and in need of you, in need of whatever you have, your leftovers, when they never asked or hinted to needing anything. When the same grace isn't given to the people of your own community. When you see a black person, you assume you see them as an image of poverty rather than a person similar to you, like how you would see someone from your own race. You wouldn't assume that that person is poverty. You wouldn't assume that they're in need of your leftover food, leftover clothes, or anything like that. You would just see them and greet them and keep on moving with your day. But with a black person, why? Why are we always automatically assumed as beneath you? And these behaviors, you might be presenting them, but you aren't aware of them because they're so embedded into you that you don't even notice or recognize when you are doing these things. So the next time when you approach, you might thinking you're approaching a black person through kindness when it actually isn't, because you wouldn't exude the same behavior when it comes to the people of your own race. And that's where the problem mainly lies. And another thing is, and this is my main and strongest point, is that black people being ignored in Islamic communities when they are raising points and opinions, because then it's being reduced to that you guys always run to stuff being racist and you guys are just overly emotional, and your opinions being either thrown out or you just being heavily ignored, as if you can never have an impactful and helpful contribution to the Ummah at large or within your immediate Islamic community. And this is so embarrassing. People are complaining, everyone is complaining the Ummah is falling apart, but no one wants to do the actual work. When these things are brought up, you feel attacked instead of taking a step back and reflecting on how your actions or what you have done might have done, the hurt you might have done. No one thinks like this. It's always black people are always and consistently being dismissed within the Islamic communities. And if we want to change and heal the Ummah, we need to start somewhere. And I'm begging you that more of us need to let go of this inherent racism or classism associated with racism. It needs to be rid of. How are we going to be moving forward and growing, expanding the Ummah? Not just expanding the Ummah in numbers, but expanding the Ummah in strength if we cannot let go of racism. A black person is not beneath you and you aren't above a black person just because you aren't black. And if other races are experiencing the same things, let me know about your experiences down in the comments. And what I've said concerning racism is just a brief overview. There are a lot more passive racism that occurs within Islamic communities, and I need more people to speak on this. And there's another point that I forgot, is that the harshness that a black person experience within Islamic communities. There's a lot of harshness in speech and tone when people are addressing black people. Whether it's people, even people of knowledge, when they speak to black people, it's almost like we are, our presence is like a waste of time to them. Like we don't really matter. Like we just need to get over and done with in speaking to us as black people. It's really frustrating. Like, how are we supposed to be united as a ummah? How are we supposed to respect people of knowledge or just people who call themselves Muslims in our communities if this is how we are being treated? And I am grateful, and I am grateful for those, regardless of their skin color, still choosing to stand side by side with black people without limiting us to our race and seeing us as equal Muslim people. And it's so weird that this conversation is happening in 2026. This really needs to change. And if this made you feel annoyed or angry, you should step back and wonder, why are you annoyed and angry? This video is going to be the short, and I'm ending here because there's nothing more that needs to be said. What's stopping you from not being racist? What's so hard about not being racist? What does it change? What does it change? Are you willing for the Ummah to break down just because you as a person cannot let go of racism? That's a shameful thing, and it's really disgusting. The Ummah needs to upgrade and change. Change needs to happen, and it needs to start now. Thank you for watching. In my next educate their families on racism and how it's killing the Ummah, I applaud and thank you, because it is truly hard to change or inspire people who are caught up in old ways of thinking. Shukran. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.